Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome to this Prehistoric Kingdom video. We're going to be taking a look at the recent announcement that they are moving into alpha on March 19th. Very excited for this one here for Geekism. We've actually covered Prehistoric Kingdom a couple of times over the last couple of years at various stages in its development, but it really does seem like this next version that we're going to get our hands on is a big jump from the previous few. For those of you who don't know, Prehistoric Kingdom is a Jurassic Park simulator, for want of a better word. Everything but name, I guess. It's a zoo tycoon game where you build a park for dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures. Up until relatively recently, whenever we've looked at it, it's been a sort of pretty standard management tycoon kind of game. You know, you can plop down buildings, you plop down the area that a dinosaur can go in, you put the dinosaur down and you put a few trees down and away you go. But the game has really come on quite a bit since and giving us an incredible amount of customization. Now, whether or not this is a sort of direct development from some of the criticisms around Jurassic World Evolution's relatively shallow gameplay, we'll ever know, but it's still really exciting for folks like us who really enjoy that sort of creative play. So taking a look at what we're going to get for the alpha in just a couple of weeks, there's just 6 animals, which I actually think is quite few really. Doesn't fuss me too much, as I've said before, my focus isn't really on the animals in these kind of games, it's more on the focus of what we can build for them, so it doesn't fuss me too much, although I am quite surprised that it is such a small roster for those sort of dino fans out there. Probably going to want to get their teeth stuck into a few more, but I think the full game's going to have like 50 or something, so there's still plenty to come. But we're getting the Tyrannosaurus, the Edmontosaurus, the Lambosaurus, the Styracosaurus, the Triceratops, and the Microraptor. I did practice saying those, you couldn't tell, could you? The Microraptor is interesting. That's actually an aviary creature. It's a bird, for want of a better word, really. Flies around. Now, I don't know, I can't find much information as to whether or not that aviary is just a sort of thing that we place down, like the Jurassic World Evolution one that they added recently, or we're going to be able to build structures that the thing can fly inside. Either will be cool, I guess, but it'd be nice to see which one we get. And alt skins for some of those as well. One of the newest things they're also adding, they actually mentioned this in last month's devlog, and that's multi-level pathfinding, which basically means that the animals are aware of the modular building system and can move around it. So if you've played Planet Zoo, for instance, this is how it works in Planet Zoo. If you place a ramp down or a platform down, the animals will be able to traverse it within reason, and they've been able to bring that to Prehistoric Kingdom, so really exciting. I love this kind of stuff because it really means that the things that we build are going to be able to be interacted with by the animals, really give us some sort of feedback as to what we've built in the game, which is really quite fun. The animals are going to engage in a variety of basic behaviours as well: eating, drinking, grazing, resting, all that kind of stuff. Also socialising and broadcasting, it's kind of where they stand there and go and all that sort of stuff. Some animals will be updated to include absent behaviours shortly after alpha's release, so these aren't all going to come straight away on March 19th. They're just probably ironing out some of the creases on a few of them. So here's the creative stuff. This is where it really starts to get exciting for us here at Geekism, because we love creative building in video games. You're going to be able to terraform the land with 6 different tools. You can raise the land, lower the land, smooth, flatten, roughen, and erosion. Not too sure what erosion is and how it will be different from roughen. Excited to see that. You can also use up to 3 paintable water materials and varying depths to create pools and ponds that the animals can drink out of, I imagine, or maybe just sort of wade around in. There's 4 paintable biomes: tropical, temperate, scrubland, and wetland are all going to be coming. You can use the brush intensity to create subtle gradients between them as well, which is really quite exciting. There's going to be 13 placeable structures, so these are most likely going to be the things that your guests interact with: toilet blocks, restaurants, gift shops, that kind of thing. Then there's also 250 plus modular items. These are the bread and butter of this kind of channel: logs, planks, little bricks, things that you can use as roof lights, that kind of stuff. Really excited to get my hands on these and mess around with the system. Not only is the system fully modular, you can build on or off the grid, and most of these items are scalable as well, which is really quite exciting. That's something I haven't really seen from this kind of game before. You've got a little 1 meter wooden plank. You can stretch it up and be 10 meters if you like, within reason. I think there are some limitations, but even still, really exciting stuff. There's going to be 12 fences and 7 path materials in the game. They're going to be spline-based construction on those. In the previous builds of the game, I've played with the fences and paths go down really quite nicely, actually. The only thing that would be kind of nice is to see like a path fill tool so that you can build larger plazas. That's something that a lot of these games really quite struggle with, even from way back into like early Roller Coaster Tycoon. That game struggled with plazas. It might just be one of those weird things that, you know, pathing AI for large crowds is difficult to deal with, but even still, I would love to see something like that. You can also save and load your park, which is nice, I guess, but also they have said that there's not going to be any undo or redo tools, so we're going to kind of, you can delete individual pieces, I imagine, but you're not going to be able to undo a load in one go and then can't bring them back again, at least until beta. And also some of the objects that will be recolorable later in the build are going to be available here in the alpha. There's going to be some basic management in the game at the alpha stage, a basic economy. Guests come in, spend money and leave, and that money is going to be used to build the structures that you want to put in. There's going to be a power management grid system. Placing down power items will give off an area of influence that any building within those will be powered, and the visitors will come into the park, although they have said they're going to be basic. They're basically probably going to wander around, really. I imagine there's not going to be much else in the alpha build, but eventually there's going to be additional animations, AI, model variation, and guest related gameplay as well, and that'll be coming in the beta and the early access launch. Time frame for that, by the way, is this year. They've said that early access launch should happen in 2021, so it seems like it's going to be relatively quickly. The alpha build is going to mostly be focused on bug fixing, stress testing, you know, with actual getting people's hands on the game. It's sometimes the only way you can really figure out what's broken in your game is by giving it to people who haven't been working on it for 3 years to try something that you never even thought of, you know, that whole fresh eyes idea. But they have said that there aren't going to be much iterations to the alpha. All the feedback they're going to take from the alpha is going to be baked into the beta, which will come later in the year. A few other bits then which look really interesting. They've been working on the water rendering and reflections. That is gorgeous. Look at that for a screenshot. Wow, this game has come on so much. The Microraptor has had some tweaks as well. The feathers look a little bit better. They've added in a lula, which is a thumb, a sort of prominence, sort of halfway up the wing there, and so it's a little bit more anatomically correct, which is nice, because I know there's going to be people who are really into that kind of stuff. Again, it doesn't really fuss me, you know, dinos go raw, that's about as where my knowledge stops. But it's really great that they're taking the seriousness and that level of detail into that part of the game for the people who are really into it. I am super excited for this one. It's been on the radar for literally years now. I'll pop a link in the description to some of the previous builds we've looked at of this game. Like I said, the first one was crazy early. I mean, it was no more than a tech demo, honestly, and then we played it again last year where it really started to look like it was getting fleshed out. But again, this alpha looks like a huge step on from that. I'm very excited to get my hands on it. I know a few people, myself included, probably were a little burnt with Jurassic World Evolution, not really having the depth that we wanted it to. I know a lot of people are getting a bit burnt out with Planet Zoo, again, myself included, so this is going to be a really great mix of the two, I think. The modularity and the creativeness of Planet Zoo and, you know, Dinos Go Raw of the Jurassic World Evolution series. I'm really looking forward to this one. There's going to be loads of coverage of this on the channel as soon as I'm allowed to show you, so make sure if you are new here and you haven't already, click subscribe, because we'll be covering this lot come March 19th. It's 17 days away or something when I'm recording this. Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Until the next one, be good.